Um, uh,
Powers.
mic test. Yeah, mic test. Am I audible? Good. Um, good. Um, Hi guys. Today I hope you guys are doing great. You and your family. Today with us we have Sam Porter, who is the lead of Hack Club and the founder of STEM in Singapore. Uh, yeah, and today he's going to be taking a workshop on next.js, which is a React framework. Yep. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Over to you, Sam.
Hello, hi. I hope everyone can hear me. Yep, as was said, my name is Sam. I'm a high schooler here in Singapore. I enjoy open source development, and I like making interactive experiences. So that's normally combining virtual and physical worlds together with things like sound festivals, digital, and Next.js plays a big part of that. So that leads me into this workshop here. Lift off with Next.js that I'll be running. So today we'll be learning all about Next.js, what it is, how to use it. And before we get started, I'm just going to send a message in the chat. Could everyone please install Node.js? So Node.js is needed to do this workshop. So if everyone could install that for the upcoming workshop, that would be great. And yeah. So does anyone have any concerns about installing Node.js? Okay. I'll just monitor the chat for a bit. And when something comes up, I will address it. So with that said, let's go through the table of contents for this workshop. So the first item on our agenda is what is Next.js and React. Then we're going to look at what are the key features of Next.js. And then lastly, we'll look at how we can apply Next.js before going into a live coding session, and then a Q&A/open discussion for that. All right. So let's jump right in with what is Next.js. And first off, we have to know React. So I think the easiest way to explain React is through this example here. So React is a way for us to use JavaScript to build user interfaces for the web and mobile. So how we normally do it in current days is to define a function. So here we are using a function up here. Up here, we've got a function. And then inside, we can use JavaScript variables, just standard JavaScript. And then we can return something called JSX, which is what we've got up here. So that's JSX is a lot like HTML, but we can actually inject JavaScript inside of JSX. So here you can see we're putting the name variable inside of the JSX, which makes it like, yeah, it's like JavaScript inside of HTML. It's amazing. So let's head on over to what React is. And hold on. Sorry about this. It has seen my computer has completely crashed. Okay. So let's head on over to what is Next.js. So Next.js is an all-in-one React framework for the web. So it strips away some of the unnecessary boilerplate of React and makes also React much more powerful at the same time. So it's a simple yet very powerful tool to help us make better things with React. So yeah, let's go through some key features of Next.js. So the primary key feature of Next.js is its multiple rendering options. And I'll just go through them each one by one and why you might want to use each of them. So static site generation. So what that does is it takes all of your React pages and renders them as HTML and JSON when you click build. And this is handy if you have, per se, a landing page, for example, and you don't have much data that ever needs updating. So to update pages, a rebuild is required. Then we have server-side rendering. So server-side rendering is when a user makes a request, the page is then rendered on the server and then sent back to the user. So if you go to google.com, on the server, the page is then rendered and then sent back to the user. It makes sure all your data is up to date, but it can be a bit slow if you've got to fetch a lot of data. And the combination of the two is something called incremental static regeneration. So it's a combination. So pages are all rendered on build time, like static site generation. But then over time, they're re-rendered and the data is refreshed. So every 30 seconds, for example, you might refresh the data, and you can customize that. And that's actually what we'll be using today to build our application. And then we have file-based routing. So what's file-based
Mic
routing?
feedback
Well, file-based
off.
routing
Mic
is
off.
basically, it just means that in your pages directory, story.js wraps to about/story, for example, and team to about team. You see how that works? So that makes it a lot more simple. And whilst that may seem obvious, in a lot of React things, that it just doesn't work like that. So that's a real benefit of next.js. So let's head on here. So then we have dynamic routing. So this is when you define a file like planet.js, and then it's a template. So we can code this so that planet.js makes a page for both Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, so on, so on. So that's what dynamic routing is. So that's really helpful as well. So I'll just take a pause to ask if anyone's got any questions. So I'm just monitoring the chat right now. I've got it up here. So if anyone's got any questions, fire away. All right, looks like we don't have any questions about these. So we will continue on to API routes. So API routes, what are API routes? Well, they are very basic. You can create an API from within Next.js. So Next.js is a front-end framework, but you can actually build a backend from within it. So for example, we create this pages API, and then what it does, it will send back a JSON file like this. And inside here, you can use all sorts of Node.js to change what that is. So we've got a question. Why Next.js? Well, I think the best part about Next.js is the fact that it's highly performant, that it has a great developer experience. So we'll go through that in a bit. That it has all these extra little features, and that it's much simpler than alternatives such as Create, React App, and Gatsby. So I think those would be my key reasons why you go to Next.js. And whilst it's simpler, it's also more powerful. So I think it's a great combination. All right. So what are some other features? So, okay. What's the difference between React and Next.js? So the difference is actually Next.js builds on top of React. So it's a React framework. It's got React inside of it, but you build on top of it with Next.js. You don't have to use server-side rendering. You can use all of the 3 rendering options I used here. So static site generation, server-side rendering, or ISR, which is the combination. So you aren't necessarily restricted to server-side rendering, if that was what your question was. All right, so some other features. You've got image optimization. So that speeds up your site and reduces the size of what you send in. So it makes all your images optimized. Code splitting, so also speeds up your site and reduces the size. TypeScript support. So we're not going to be using TypeScript today, but it's really helpful if you like TypeScript. Fast refresh, it means that when you're developing, the page automatically updates in developer mode, but it maintains the state. So sometimes in developer mode, it will remove all the state, but Next.js is the only framework that uses that fast refresh technology. Built-in CSS support, so you can style it super easily. Environmental variables, so you can use secrets without any extra configuration. And polyfills for WebJS APIs, so that's things like the fetch API on the web. Node.js doesn't support that natively, but Next.js will polyfill that for you. And internationalization, so you can have a site for France, India, Korea, Japan, China, all with one code base. All right, so any questions on those ones? Okay, so we'll now head into what can I use Next.js for? Well, you can use Next.js for a lot of things. Some things include landing pages. So Next.js is used at Hack Club to make this landing page. Next.js is used at Apple to make their machine learning landing page. It's used at TikTok to create their landing page, and it's used at Netflix also to create landing pages. So you can use it to create landing pages. You can use it to create e-commerce stores. So Shake Shack uses it, Deliveroo in the UK uses it, Ticketmaster uses it, and Staples uses it, all to create e-commerce stores. And they also have this super easy template to get started on that, which I can chat with anyone in the Q&A session. You can also use it to build web apps. So Carbon, for example, is a web app that, it's all right. You don't have to like TikTok, but they are obviously a big company and they do use it. So it's just an example. TikTok, Next.js, you don't have to like both of them. It's used for financial things. It's used for Scrapbook, which is a really cool, how do you call it? Example of using ISR and SWR, which is, I can also discuss later on if anyone would like to talk about that. You can use it for blogs. So Hashnode uses it, Futurism uses it, Tencent News, which is big company uses it. It's used for all sorts of things. All right, so that's a little introduction. So I invite anyone to ask any questions, and we will then switch into the coding section of this workshop. Does anyone have any questions? All right, some people want to get coding. I see. Okay. I am going to just send a quick command. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open up your IDE. So I'm going to open up here, and I'm going to also open up a browser. So you want to open up both of those. So what are we going to be building today? Well, we're going to be building a, all right, so we'll see how to install Next.js in a few seconds. I'm just sending a link to that right now. So you want to run this command in your, oh, sorry, that's wrong. Do not run what I just sent, my bad. You want to run this command. If someone could just send this, could someone on this video call send this into the chat? Don't run the one
feedback on
that I originally sent. So I'm just gonna send this into here. Could someone share that onto the chat? All right, so you're gonna want to share that. Click whatever's about to come onto the thing. And what are we going to be building? We're going to be building this thing. So this is a NASA website. It's a bit old, but it's an astronomy picture of the day. We're going to be building a modern version of it that lets you go back in time to see previous ones. All right. Hold on. We don't want to use that link. We need to send the whole terminal command, please. Whole terminal command. Exactly what I sent in the thing. All right, apologies about this. Yeah, so the new one, the one that was just sent, you want to copy that whole thing into your terminal and then click run on on a folder and then open that folder into VS Code. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to open up my terminal. All right. And click enter. So is anyone having any struggles clicking enter on this one? All right, seems like we're getting there. So you can name your project whatever you want. All right. Okay. So how's everyone doing with their I don't think we've got any concerns right now. So I'll just wait for this to finish up on my end, and then we will get started with the programming part. If anyone's got any questions or anything, I'm happy to answer them right now. All right. Okay. So mine's loaded. So I'm just going to quickly run through how exactly this works. So first up, let's take a look inside of index.js. So index.js is very simple. It's what it's doing right now is just cd into NASA pic. You'll see what next. It's got this main component here. It's sending a title, copyright, an image, a date, and whether it is today as a boolean. So, oh God. The terminal has completely crashed. Thank you. So inside of that main component, we have a React component that we are using inside of here. So that's just our main component that we're going to be using. Okay, so the difference between React and this, so this is just building on top of React. So here we have our main component. It's a bit complex, but happy to explain it, of course. So it returns a div that, can I increase the font? Sure. Yeah, I'm just working on that right now. Okay. That should now be a lot bigger. I hope that's easier to see. That is even bigger. Okay. So so here we have, I'm just gonna resize these. So this one's easier to see. Okay, so in this component, we return a, yes, I've zoomed in. Yes, I've zoomed in. Yes, so in this thing, we have a division. I mean a div. This is a control box down here. So we've got the date, we've got the title, and we've got the buttons. Yeah, glad it's visible now. And then in here, we have the image that we're just putting back here. So we want to run npm run dev, great. Which will run. And then we can use, could you increase the font size on the IDE? Sure. On the IDE, I have it I have it like to the maximum right now. So, I'm not sure how much more I can zoom in here. So we want to head up to localhost. So we want to, so this has got our template running, and we will get programming in a couple of moments. So if this could load, we would be in a much better position right now. Okay, so next.js is just getting started for us. In the meantime, I'll continue to run through this. So we just have this replace function in here. That's because of a quirk with the API. You don't really have to worry about that too much. Yeah. Load, load, load. This is seriously enough. Okay, I think it's loaded now. We're getting some progress. All right, here we have our actual thing. So that will work. Not sure why that's not working. That's weird. But here's our thing. And okay. And then we want to first get started by going to next.js. We want to head up here, and we want to begin by writing a function called get static props. So that's what's going to do our thing. That's what's going to find our thing for us.
Oh, Sam, could you try increasing the font?
I've increased it to the maximum. I'm not sure how much more I can increase it. I think I've increased it to the max. So we want to first head to api.nasa.gov, which is where we can get all of our API stuff. So just type in your name, your last name, and an email. And you can just grab this API key. They're not super private, so you can just grab any API key. And then you want to head to, you want to create a new file called .env here. And you just want to say key equals, and then there. And then you want to restart the dev process, so you can do Control-C and then npm run devs again. So that will create your API key thing that you need. Okay, I will try zooming in more, but yeah, it's at its maximum. Yeah, okay. Is that easier to read? I recommend using the computer for reading the thing, because we can't really do a code session on phones. So once you've got your API key, you want to head into here, and you want to, could you paste the command? Sure. The command is npm run dev. Oh, sorry, that was a typo. Run dev. That's the command to get started. So once you are, once you've got started, you can go up here and then api.nasa.gov to grab your thing. Okay. So we then want to do export default function get static props. So this function is this function will allow us to, we don't want to have default, sorry. So this function allows us to fetch our data. So we want to do let data equals await fetch. And then we want to type out this URL. So it is https api.nasa.gov /planetary, so slash apod, and then API key. So let's just fix that typo equals, and this is called a template string. So process dot env dot key. So that, if we just fix that typo, will fetch us our thing. So then we want to use that data. So first we want to, let's just code format this. So then we want to use that data, and to use it, we go dot, then R, and then you want to use an arrow function to r.json, and then we want to do that. And then here, oh, you need it to be an async function. Then here we want to then just go return props and just an array with data in it. And then we validate 30. And what revalidate 30 does is it just means that every 30 seconds, this will change once we deploy it. So does anyone have any questions regarding that? Yep, so async basically means an asynchronous, async means it's asynchronous, but weirdly in React, you have to use that for the thing. So if everyone heads to the main thing, we've just got a little bug that we have to fix. So URL dot includes, okay, so why is the API called here? Well, the API is called there because that is where, the API is called there because that's where we're getting something called props, which are our data sources to use inside of our app. So that little command is ran on the server. So everyone, if you could just go into the main component and do this little fix there. Does that answer your question about why the API is called there? All right. So let's now head back into our index.js. And now we want to use our props. So if we head up here, we write prop. So if we head up here, we want to write, you put it in a curly braces and then data. So that lets you get your data that you just shared. So then what we can do is we can quite simply just delete all of this stuff because of how our component is organized. And then we can just write ... data. And this will just put all our data through to the main component, which has already been programmed to do it. So let's refresh our page because we need to fetch the new props. Seems like we have an error. Great. All right, that's all right if we have an error. Just needs a lot of red screen. Let's console log our data and see why this is broken. That was far from helpful.
Oh, you misspelled log, Sam. Console.log.
Aha, thank you. No wonder it's all been very annoying. Thank you. Okay, let's see what's the problem with our data. Oh. So we just need to search through all this stuff, which it still doesn't want to give me. So we have, for some reason, our API key is not being registered. So I'm just going to restart the dev server. If your API key isn't being registered, I recommend restarting it. Aha, I worked it out. Our env file was in the wrong place. Okay. So we'll just restart that and let's give that a few moments and then we'll be fixed and we'll see how this works. Right, so there we go. So we have our page first rendering. So I'll just stop here and ask if anyone's got any questions. Yes, we've all been there. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to quickly delete this console log. All right. So what we now want to do is we want to create a new file. So this is a file that will do something cool. So we want to create it and it's going to be called date.js. So date.js here. So, and the first thing we want to do is we just want to go into index.js and copy everything in because we'll be using a lot of what we used in index.js, date.js. All right. So what's special about date.js is that we are using a function called getStaticPaths. So let's go export async function. So it needs to be async so that everything with JavaScript works because that's just JavaScript. Sorry, that was a really bad answer. It's so that we can use a wait, which means we wait for something to finish. So now we have getStaticPaths. We want to write this function that will do something. So what getStaticPaths is doing is that it's going to get every single path that should be generated. So it will get every single day and it will make a page for every single one. So what we want to do is we want to do a function get date x first date and then days back. And what this will do is it will return a date that is, if you give it today's date, it will return, and you give it 1, it will return yesterday's, for example. So we first want to do is do let yesterday equal new date and then the first date. So that will just create a date object for us to manipulate. Then we want to do yesterday dot set date and then use yesterday dot get date. This is minus days back. So that will just go and get what we want from back, and then return. And this is important. This is just how NASA formats their dates. Yesterday dot to ISO string. Then you want to split it on the T, and then you want to go and get the first thing returned from T, and we do not want that. So there. All right. So what are we going to do this? Well, we first need to know what the current date is. So NASA will tell us what the current date is because they use their own time zones and everything. So it's just best to grab what they currently consider as the current date from them. That current date equals, and in these brackets, you want to await, which means fetch, and then go down to get static props and just grab this exact URL we used. Control C. And then you can also grab this part of the code here. Control C. Head over here. Then I'm just going to format that. All right. And then, what we want to do is we want to wrap these in brackets from before because the formatter removed that. And then dot date. And that will just give us the current date. All right. I'm going to stop for any questions before we do the really complex part. All right, so yes, you should just restart the server if the key doesn't work. And on a bit about on get static props. So get static props just goes through and it gets you data that you can then use in your website. So let's say I wanted to create a weather app, for example. I'd run in get static props, fetch data from that website for the weather, and then you can use it in the components. All right. So if we head into here, we can then return. We want to return an object. And what we want to do is we want to return something called paths. So those will be all the paths that someone can go to. So this will be, this is going to be a very complex little JavaScript script. So hang in there with me. Array 180. So this will create 180 items in an array. Dot keys. So that will tell us the keys. And then dot map. And then X. Oh, sorry. Then X. Then so X, and then boom. And then that, and then that. And then you want to write in here params dot. I know this is really complicated, but we'll go through this. Just stick in there with me. Get date X. And then you want to do current date, and then X. And now we just want to close this with, go here and add one more of those. All right, so that does look a little bit complicated, I admit, but what it does is it creates an array of 180. Then it goes through that array and it gets 180 dates previous. All right, fallback, and then fallback will equal to true. And what that means that if someone visits a site that is not in those 180 dates, we'll still attempt to register those things. All right. So, all right. So I'll just jump into the chat, see if anyone's got any questions. JS makes my heart ache. Yeah, that's relatable. All right. So now what do we want to do? So what we want to do is now we want to use get static props, and we can just adapt this from what we had earlier. But we want to write in here params, which will allow us to know which date this site is currently on. So let's first just copy this twice. And what this one is going to do is this one's going to tell us the current date. As you know, we can just come up here and grab this thing that tells us the current date and copy it in. This will make it a lot easier for us. All right. And then we want to edit our original API call and add and date equals, and then this, and then params dot date. So that will just tell NASA what date we actually want. And then all we have to do is we have to just come down here. And as well as send in data, we want to send if it is currently today. So you want to go today, current date equal params dot date, true or false. So this will just make sure that when something is labeled today, it is actually today. So I'm going to format my code just using the built-in thing. Oh, it seems like it likes my code and will not. Okay, now it looks much nicer. All right. Now, we now have to, I want to go back to this little fallback thing we added here. So fallback equals true. So what does this mean? So this means that when someone visits a path that isn't in our array of paths, we'll then fall back and try and fetch the data even if we don't have it. So we'll server-side render it. So to handle this is how we have to do it. We have to wrap this data fetching in a try catch block. So try, and just wrap that. So, but if some part of this fails, we then want to write a catch, which will then return props not found is equal to true. All right, so you'll see how we use that in a couple of moments. Okay. Right. So now let's head up into our React component and let's use this, play around with this. So first we want to import error from next error. So what's this? This just allows us to easily show an error page. So show an error page to the user. And then here we want to import use router. So what router does, it allows us to send the user to different pages. It's like window.location, but for next router. Okay. So that's just, yep, okay. And then up here, we want to import some of our other things. So we have today, which is a new prop that we're passing, and not found. Just quickly, I'm going to check the chat. Yes. I have never been able to work out TypeScript, to be honest with you. But that's right. So now we want to set up our router. So const router equals use router. All right. And then what we want to do now is, so first we want to say, if the page isn't found, so if we can't fetch the data, then what we want to do is quite simply, we're just going to say if not found, we're going to return an error. So if not found, we want to return status code equals 404. So that will just show a 404 error, and Next.js will handle all of that. So we don't really have to worry about that. Then, yeah, I am seeing a lot of people switch to TypeScript. So then we want to say if the router dot is fallback. So this just provides a loading page. So whilst we fetch some data, in case I've actually never seen this run, but for some reason to get Next.js to build, you need to have this. So we'll just have to include that. Okay, and then lastly, we want to write some code. So if it's today, we just want to send the user to the today page. And this will just make routing easier. So today at type of window not equal undefined. So this just means that in the server-side render, it'll render it right. So this will only run on the client. Okay, and then router dot replace. All right. So we've now done all of our things. So now all we have to do is we just want to replace true with today. So in almost all cases that will show us false, but there we go. I don't know about you, but that is finally done, and that was very nice. So now theoretically, if we go to a URL up here, it should generate a page. Let's just wait for this. Slash 2021-0421. So let's just hope this works. It's rendering for the first time. Oh, did it work? Yeah, it worked. Okay, amazing. That's great. So now we've got these buttons in here that don't do anything yet. Well, they do something. What do they do? They just, yeah, they don't do anything. So we want to edit these buttons so they do actually do something. So we want to make these. Oh, where is the music coming from? I'm actually not sure. Where is the music coming from? I don't have any music playing. I'm very interested. Let me just try and see where the music's coming from. All right, I just think it's coming from space. Okay, so we have some helper functions in here. So we just want to edit these things so that they do what we want. So the first thing is, I'm glad everyone liked the music, is we just want to write something in here that gets yesterday's date. And that will just get yesterday's date. So that's rather simple. And then we want to do same here. In here. And we want to just paste this. And we want to instead get tomorrow's date. But one thing we'll run into is the fact that if it's today, there is no tomorrow. Okay, let's hope I can spell tomorrow. How do I spell and that will get tomorrow's date. But one thing like I said earlier, if it's today, we don't want to do that. So that's why when conditional rendering comes in. So we want to wrap this in angle brackets, and then we want to go is today equals false. Wow. Sounds like the music was very inspirational. And then just come over here and add a empty thing. It's not. Scroll up, please. Oh. All right. So we now have our whole thing working. Yep. So we now have our whole thing working. So we should just be able to jump in between them. If our computer doesn't crash, and it should all just work. So now, so we've now built our first Next.js website. So great work, everyone. Awesome. So I'll now head back to the chat, and if anyone's got any questions, I guess this is the right time to do questions. Yes, they're pictures from space, so some of them do come from Hubble, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the API fetches all of NASA's pictures. All right. If no one's got any questions, yes, it should be. And I think the live stream will also remain open.
Yep, the live stream will remain off, and this you can watch it whenever you want.
Yeah.
All right.
If anyone's
if anyone's got any questions, they can put it in the chat.
Yeah. And in the meantime, if you could star this workshop on GitHub, that would be amazing if you've enjoyed it. This is my first time delivering it, so I'd also love feedback on how I could improve it. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Sam, for conducting this beautiful workshop. It was great having you, man.
No worries.
Thanks. Okay. So the next workshop, so the next talk would be on
going to talk about upskill with hackathons and communities. Siddharth Dalville is a community development intern at Saho Labs, GitHub campus expert, Microsoft Learn student ambassador, AngelX student ambassador, Coding Blocks, Hacker Earth Ambassador, and former Progate Community Intern. Upskill with hackathons and communities. The prime intent of a community is to acquaint students with the ecosystem and develop skills that set by providing effective training. We are, we are a community which believes in knowledge for all. Join Siddharth in this interactive session to more know about communities and hackathons. Hackathons are another fun medium to promote learning. In today's times, the importance of hackathons in technical sphere has reached new limits. So over to you, Siddharth.
Hey everyone, let me know if I'm on the screen. Awesome, I can see myself on the screen. Hey everyone, thanks a lot for joining in, and thanks a lot for that wonderful introduction. I can see many people joining in the live stream, in the live chat on YouTube. So thanks a lot everyone for joining in. Feel free to introduce yourself in the live chat. I know we are meeting, virtually, and hope to meet everyone soon in person as well, so that we can interact face to face as well. But until that time, let us know who you are in the chats, maybe your name, on in which you are studying, your branch, or from which city you are, so that we can know more about each other as well. And I hope you all are staying safe at your end, happy and healthy, away from COVID. These are like tough times, but we'll definitely come over it very soon. So yeah, and hope you all are excited for the same. This is a kind of a topic which is very near to my heart. I have personally grown a lot when I talk about hackathons and communities, and they have given me a lot of things which I can't even imagine or count. But in this talk, we'll more talk about what are hackathons, what are the different impacts which hackathon brings, what is hacker community, how are the ways you can take most out of it, how are the ways you can get involved with the hackathon communities, and many other stuffs as well. I'll also be sharing my experience in the end. So I hope you all have great time over here, and feel free to ask any questions you have in the live chat. I'm also looking to the live chat in the meantime, and I love Q&A. So feel free to ask any questions, whichever you have. I would love to answer all of them. So to begin with, as you can see already, on the screen, the title is Upskill with Hackathons and Communities. So as I said, I'll be talking about more of all of these stuff which I mentioned earlier. And one more thing, I want to keep it as interactive as possible. So make sure you do that. Try to be as interactive in the chat as possible. Try to maybe ask questions, interact with others, answer others' question, and anything else which you can think of. Right. And with that being said, let us start with the session. So first of all, let me introduce myself to you all. Already the host have done, but quite a bit introduction from my end as well. So I'm Siddharth Dalwal. I'm currently a student pursuing computer science and engineering. And as you can see on the screen as well, I'm involved with different communities and companies at the moment. So currently I'm a community development intern at Sao Labs. I recently got accepted in the first ever class of 26 people in Digital Oceans Navigators program. uh, I was with Progate previously as a community intern. I run my very own hackathon, which is Hack This Call Hackathon. Microsoft launched an ambassador and recently also got accepted into the GitHub Campus Expert program. Apart from that, you can see I'm an Angel Axe student ambassador and crowdsource influencer as well. And talking more about me, I love interacting with people, and help my community members, because this is what I do on a daily basis, right? And I would love to interact with you all as well. So feel free to be interactive as much as possible. How did you get that GitHub hoodie? I got that GitHub hoodie because I contributed in one of the GitHub's event, which was GitHub Universe. I wrote the notes of all the speaker sessions. So as a token of appreciation, GitHub gave me that, and even you can do that. It's kind of an open source contribution. So absolutely, go ahead and contribute to open source. Awesome. So to begin with, you all might be having this question, right? That what actually a hackathon is. Of course, there are a lot of definitions on internet, around hackathon, but there is no single meaning of a hackathon. Hackathon can be considered in multiple ways, according to individual's perspective, isn't it? So before we move forward, let me know in the chats how many hackathons have you participated in. It can be any, it can be zero as well, it can be 100 as well. Let me know the number, so that I can get an idea about uh, if there are like more beginners in the chat, or maybe some intermediate, or some advanced level hackers as well. But let me know in the chat what is the number of hackathons which you have participated in or contributed in. Awesome, I can see 3, 1. That's pretty cool. 4 hackathons, that's fantastic. 6, 3. On average, I can consider so far like around 3 to 4, 5 to 6, I guess. Awesome. Yeah, keep them coming. This is what I want. I want the chat to be as interactive as possible so that I can see that you all are attentive, right? And help in conducting one. That definitely, that's a great way of contributing as well to the hackathons. Awesome. So let's talk about, like, first of all, go with the definition. So it's like hackathons are an incredible way to just bring your community together to learn new skills, build amazing projects, and share ideas. And at the same time, hackathons can also be best described as an invention marathon. Now you might be wondering that for whom is this hackathon and who can attend one? So answer is very simple. Anyone who has an interest in technology attends a hackathon to just learn, build, and share their creations over the course of a weekend, in a very relaxed and welcoming atmosphere. That is for sure. And for becoming an attendee of a hackathon, you don't have to be a programmer. That is for sure. You do not need to have, any background from computer science field or IT industry. So just imagine, where does this concept of a hackathon comes from? Basically, hackathons are also called a hack day or hack fest, and this was born out of the open source community. That is what you heard it right. And now you might be thinking that what are the impacts that hackathon brings, right? So let's talk about that as well. And I can see in the chat, hacksync is telling that I attended for fun, stay all night. Yes, definitely. Attending for fun is definitely one of the way I think is a good thing to do, because initially when I started with my hackathon journey, which I'll be discussing further in the slides, I also attended for the fun, just for learning, meeting new people, and many other kinds of things. Yep, let's talk about hackathon impacts now. So being a part of any hackathon, brings a lot of opportunities and many ways with which one can contribute to solve the shared problems of our society. So let us understand what are the few out of many impacts that hackathon creates. And also, while I speak, as you might have already mentioned in the chat, you have attended 3, 4, 5, 6 hackathons in the past. So after experiencing those hackathons, do let us know in the chats that what was the best outcome after you attended that hackathon. According to you, what was your best experience after attending the hackathon? According to you, let us know in the chat. Awesome. Let's first talk about the very first hackathon impact, which is the best. Now, in the hackathon ecosystem, a problem is just not considered as a problem, right? But it is seen as a problem that gives way to an opportunity. Now you need to understand this. Now there are multiple problems around us which needs the solution, or we can say a better solution. Now for creating a solution, there are different end goals which surrounds a hackathon. Now for example, a solution can be as simple as an application that helps you find your lost spectacles, or maybe which helps your grandmother find her lost, like anything, and or maybe an application which helps you find lost vehicle keys in the house. And this is as simple as that. So you see, the purpose is always about finding a solution to a real world problem. It can be through code or collaboration. So what do you think on that? Let me know that as well. Also, hackathons are inclusive. Now when I say inclusive, I mean it is open to everyone, not just coders or computer science students. Hackathons are for a diverse and dynamic group of builders, programmers, creators, designers, and any other title or role which you can think of. Definitely. And if you have an interest in technology, hackathons offer an opportunity for you to learn, grow, and pick up some valuable technical skills that you would require in your future careers. And that is like very important. And believe me, hackathons are like solutions based. But while they also serve as an opportunity for like both kinds of people, that is extroverts and introverts, so that they can just foster their relationships and social and interpersonal skills at the same time. And it happens while engaging in something they have shared and genuine interest in. So people from different backgrounds and different cultures gather at a single place just to learn, to collaborate, and grow. And not only this, hackathon helps educating people. Now, if you are attending a hackathon, you will definitely become better than before, because you get an opportunity to learn from others and teach them at the same time. You also get to add projects in your portfolio, which helps you make stand unique from others. And take an example of any other hackathon. For example, not just hackathon, but this day was 2021. You are attending various speaker sessions, which I've already started from yesterday. I suppose this is the last one, but you might have learned a lot within just by attending all of these workshops. So there are lot and lots of learning opportunities when you're attending a hackathon. And I can see in the chats, Andromedan is saying that it's always better to have people from different domains in hackathons, like having designer really helps. Definitely. I'm also going to talk about, team formation basically in my further slides. But yes, thanks a lot for bringing that up. And yes, hackathon helps create valuable connections. Anywhere I go, I more focus on networking, connection building, and hackathons are a great place to meet like-minded people who all are having, different backgrounds, different skills and experiences to share. So you get to meet hackers, each coming from different branch, with different knowledge. You also meet mentors with variety of skill sets. There are sponsor representatives with whom you can directly connect and know more about the company sponsoring the hackathon. And believe me, everyone have something unique to share. And networking is my favorite part to do in any event or hackathon in particular. Over here as well in Devhost, I before we started this session, I started interacting with all of you all. We started greeting each other. We started asking if everyone is safe or not. This is how we network with people. Of course, we are not able to meet in person right now and just shake hands like we do when we used to meet earlier. But leveraging every time, every moment of your participation in an event or in a hackathon really matters. And you definitely can't miss connection building or networking sessions, that is for sure. That adds a lot of value to maybe your uh, you know maybe your skills, or maybe your way of communication, and many other aspects as well. But we'll talk more about that. And I can see uh, Ducky Duck asking, "Did you host any hackathon? How was your experience?" I'll definitely share more about that after this slides ends. And I do have one more slides, sharing all of my experiences. So stay tuned. Awesome. And yes, opportunities, of course. For anyone, opportunities is like very important, right? And hackathon does help creating many of them. So you might be thinking that what are different opportunities? So they are like collaborating with people, making projects, winning prizes, learning new valuable skills, building meaningful connections, getting internships, earning free swags, of course, who can forget that, and eating free food. Not in virtual though, but in in-person events. This is also one of the opportunity which I consider, right? And such there are so many opportunities. So you see, participating in the hackathon gives you full of opportunities. You just have to be a good observant and should have a right mindset to grab the suitable one. That is for sure. I can see Uttam telling we can meet a lot of people. Definitely. On an average in a hackathon, we encounter around 200 people on an average. So just in a single day, you got an opportunity to interact with 200 people. How cool is that? Even if even if we are sitting in a college class, we have around 50 to 60 people at max on an average. But hackathons definitely helps you connect with more and more people. And the very important and the best things, hackathon is not just an event of few days. Hackathon helps build a community. Now, want to know more about it? Definitely. Allow me to throw some more lights on the same. I can see free food is the best. Many people, personally, I look out for all of those food counters as well at the same time, because we are in such an environment where we learn so many things all together. There are multiple people, and free food is like the cherry on the cake. It's that kind of a thing. And who can miss coffee? And definitely, when I used to attend hackathons in person, my coffee mug would be like full every time. That is for sure. All right. And yes, let's talk about hacker community or maybe any other community. But before that, let me know in the chats that what is that one thing you like the most about any community in general. You can also talk about SOSC as well. Many of the people joining us live might be the members of this community, your college campus clubs, any program community, DSC, GDG, IEEE, MLSA, any other community. So what is that one thing which you like the most about community in general? Let me know in the chats and I'll be looking out for your answers. North Indian food is so good. For me, every food is good. I'm a vegetarian. Anything which you gave me, I'll definitely eat that. Making friends, definitely. That is one of my favorite thing to do as well, for sure. Because uh, I can find people, like-minded people. I can share my ideas. I can share my views. I can learn from them. I can teach them at the same time. And there's a lot of thing as well. Feeling of inclusion, that is so true. As I mentioned earlier, hackathons are inclusive. It's not just for a limited group of people, but people from any background, any skill sets, any experience can join us, and that is what I like the most. Like-minded people, as I said. Definitely thanks a lot everyone for putting those things in the chat. Connecting with devs, yes, as I said, that's for sure. Awesome. Now when I said hackathons creates a community, what do I meant by that? I meant hacker community. Now, there are different meaning of the word hacker, right? But I would like to make it clear at this particular moment that here, hacker is not the one who is, breaking into systems and doing some kind of a robbery. Instead, hacker is the one who is participating in a hackathon. So, if this is hacker, what do we mean by hacker community? Let us know about that. Hacker community is nothing but a group of like-minded people having same interest of attending hackathons and motivation to solve the shared problems of our society. So, isn't it super awesome to be part of such a community, right? It is. And now you might be thinking that for whom is this community and who can be a hacker? Let me tell you. A hacker community have people with different skills and backgrounds. As I said earlier, it's inclusive. And there are people from beginner level to intermediate to advanced level as well. And even you can be part of the community. Your skills and level are not the criteria to join at all. And believe me, they will eventually grow as you become the part of this amazing community. Is there hacker community that we can join? Is the question asked by Jonas. Definitely you can join many other hacker communities. If you're participating in a hackathon, you become the part of that particular hackathon communities, right? MLH being one of them, Hack Club being one of them. There are many other as well at the same time. So feel free to join any community which where you resonate your views with, like any other communities as well at the same time. So what else do you experience being a part of hacker community? As I said earlier, that I love interacting with people, and hackathons gave me that opportunity to make new friends. As Sam in the chat said, that you get to meet a lot of people with whom you can become friends. So yes, friends with whom I can share my knowledge, discuss common interest, and learn from them at the same time. Believe me, it feels so good to have people who understand you more than yourself. That is for sure. And hacker community also helps people to collaborate based on their interests and skills. People come together to work on a project to bring some solution for an existing problem. Also, being a part of the community, you can share ideas and knowledge and teach people. There is just so much to gain that I cannot express that enough. Most importantly, be the part of community to celebrate and have fun and enjoy your presence, because you are an awesome person being the part of an amazing community. So you deserve that, of course. And there is so much that can be said about it. But let me tell one more important aspect of a hacker community or hackathon community. Apart from all the things I talked about earlier, you also get to contribute to open source. Now, if you were finding an opportunity to, just kickstart your journey with open source, hackathons are best place to do that, as open source projects are born during the hackathon. And most importantly, open source is not just about code. Today, it is used for designing, documentation, recruitment, file sharing, and multiple domains one can think of. And at a hackathon, hackers uses open source tools, softwares, and different platforms. And many of them build their skills overnight around all of those open source tools and do wonders with the same. So from starting with a normal hackathon open source projects, hackers end up doing valuable contribution to various organizations across the world and end up building skills that can help make this world a better place to live. And with that being said, let us talk about something else as well. But before that, as you can see on the screen as well, this is an image of, like, I was there at one of the hackathon in my state, and I was just coding over there. And I started my hackathon journey and I started my open source contribution from that particular hackathon. That is the reason why I added this picture of mine into the slide, so that if I can do that, anyone can do that as well at the same time. So hackathons can be a great opportunity for you to kickstart your open source journey. And I can see people writing in the chat, solving local society problems, definitely. Yes, doesn't matter if we didn't win, it's just what we take back from the hackathon. Definitely, whenever someone asks me that, Siddharth, uh, what do you think about winning a hackathon, right? So the only thing which I tell everyone is that for me, winning a hackathon is not winning all of those cash prizes and those credits or many other things, or standing at first place, second place, or third place. That is not winning a hackathon is for me. For me, winning a hackathon is like tick marking on all the points which I just mentioned earlier, which includes all the hackathon impacts, the hacker community guidelines, and everything else as well. So if I have interacted with people, if I have uh, made connections, if I have made projects, if I have collaborated in team, if I have learned something new, and many other things which I mentioned earlier, for me, I have won that hackathon. Even if I have missed anything from all of these points, I think I have missed something. I haven't won that hackathon. But that is the kind of a mindset every hacker should have, because winning is not just a thing. There are many other things which can help you enhance yourself at the same time. So focus on upscaling and everything else. And yes, winning will definitely come along the way if you'll do good. Awesome. Let me check. Few more questions. Does contributing open source plays a lot in our resume? Definitely it does, if you are a great open source contributor, of you or if you do open source contribution, that will enhance your profile in much better way. So anytime, if you are still left to start with open source contribution, definitely you can start now. From my experience, hackathon is the place where I've learned things I would have never learned. Definitely, Andromedan. That's so true. Even I think a lot of times, what if I wouldn't have attended any hackathon so far? I wouldn't have been that much capable enough to even speak right now in front of you all. Hackathons have helped me in boosting my confidence as well at the same time, and lot many things I have learned in my entire journey so far, which I'm gonna share in few moments. But that is for sure. Awesome. Let's move forward. Hackathon continuous tense. Now, you might be wondering that what do I mean by hackathon continuous tense? Well, after talking about hackathon impacts, and hacker community, I will highlight few important phases for you to more focus on during the hackathon. Just in case if you are planning to attend a hackathon in near future, you can keep these points in the mind, and these are like very important phases which I've curated. First up is idea, definitely. When I talk about idea, what is the first thing which comes into your mind? Now is the time to use the live chat. Let me know the answer of this question, that what is the first thing which comes into your mind when I talk about idea? I think if I've had fun, it's a win-win. Yes, for sure. Learning opportunity, definitely. Yes. GitHub will look more greener. That is for sure. If you start contributing to open source, your GitHub will look more greener with all of those green squares. Yes. So yes, let me know in the chat what according to you is idea. What is that first thing which comes in your mind when you hear the word idea for the very first time? Idea for brainstorming, definitely. Personally, when I hear the word idea, I know there are many things as well which comes up in my mind. But I would like to know what are the things which comes into your mind when you listen the word idea. Bring more different perspectives. I want to get more different answers. Idea for brainstorming. What else? trying to find solution to problem given. Definitely, that can definitely be, one of the approaches or maybe perspective to look around different ideas. Something like first step for developing what to do, for sure. Basically in a hackathon, if you are starting to work on some problem statement, idea is definitely the first step for developing what to do. What else? Keep your answers coming, and I'll also talk about what do I think when I hear the word idea for the very first time. So for me, it's like, idea is something unique, something creative, or something which is just yours and been produced according to your thinking, right? Isn't it? Yes. So in the same way, idea can be considered as a problem, a, a problem that, which you need to find. Or now, here comes the question. When we talk about idea problem statement, you will have this question that where to find this idea, where to find this problem statement, right? And I can see that in the chat as well that Fawaz Abed is saying idea. I struggle a lot with that. That's definitely, a problem with many beginner hackers or hackers in general. But for finding a problem, you just need to observe your surroundings, because problems are many. And as I said earlier, you are having a difficulty in finding lost vehicle key, or maybe your grandmother's lost spectacles. Now this is just a simple problem, right? So if I talk about more bigger problem, you can consider maybe weak algorithm of a traffic signal. For example, you might have observed that the road where there are no cars have green signal, and the other three sides have to wait until the counter hits zero. So this is just an example, and such there can be like many examples. So problems can be from smallest to biggest. What you can do is just sit with your team, brainstorm on various opinions, ask your friends, family members, talk to different mentors. You can take their feedback, check out sponsored tracks. Also keep in mind the tech stacks and the skill set of your teammates. That is important. And eventually, after all of this, you will start getting an idea for finding a good problem which you can solve. It will take time, it will not happen in a sudden, but it will only happen when you'll start somewhere. So you need to have that particular start. Does finding a problem comes first, or if we just go with some random idea? Again, as I said, you need to sit with your team. You need to start brainstorming on different opinions, whatever your team members are looking for, and you need to ask people around you that this is our random idea. What do you think? Is it good enough? Can we solve that? Does this idea impact a group of people, a larger group of people? And even if you are doing that, for example, after you get that random idea, start looking for different sponsor tracks. Can you correlate that idea with any of them? Can you know fit your idea into any of the domains which were mentioned by the hackathon, or anything else as well? Also keep in mind the tech stack. As I said, if you are trying to solve a problem, and for solving a problem particular tech stack is required, see if your any of the teammates is aware about the same. If not, if you think you can learn those tech stacks during the hackathon, definitely go ahead. And eventually, after all of this, as I said, you'll start getting ideas and different problem statements around your mind. And something that gets things done, yes, you can have various steps for brainstorming, definitely. Is it feasible? I'm not sure what is feasible, like for what you're asking that for. Maybe you can elaborate your question. uh, is it fine if your ideas in hackathon are not always solving problems, something just fun project to work on? Yeah, sure, it's not at all compulsory. For example, there have been various hackathons I have been to, and the themes were like that. You do not need to focus on real world problems. You can just make something silly. An example is silly hacks. This is one of the best hackathon I've seen so far, because uh, with respect to COVID, this happened hackathon like last year in August, I suppose, or maybe August, September. I'm not sure. Maybe it was September, but the hackathon's theme was based on just making silly projects, something which is just for fun, something which makes others feel happy. And it's not at all always compulsory to look around for real world only. Of course, the basic idea is about solving real world problems, but it varies with different hackathons. Every hackathon is different. Every hackathon is unique. So look out for such hackathons according to your interest and like skill sets. Definitely. Is the idea feasible for the team to complete? I'm still not sure about the question. Maybe you can elaborate more. So sorry for that, but I'm not able to understand it. All right, let's move on to the next phase, which is teamwork. So I hope and Andromeda's answer or question may be around team. So let me just complete this slide of mine. So after you finalize your idea, it really becomes important to distribute the things among your team. Now understand this. Each member of your team will be best at something. Make sure to utilize your skill at this particular moment, as this is your time. Divide your work accordingly, according to your skills, according to the interests which your team members are having. Most importantly, communicate actively. Talk about issues you are facing, discuss on different approaches, and keep backing each other. Right? If your team member is not knowing about something, make that person aware about it. Teach others and learn from them at the same time. You do not have to compete among yourself. Understand this. And with a fantastic team effort, you can, teach, learn, grow, and succeed at the same time. And next comes is execution. Now, whatever idea you have thought about, whichever way the work has been divided, now is the time to execute it and get into some action. Most important is to note the time and set goals and targets to achieve in particular period. You need to be aware about the duration of the hackathons, the schedule of the hackathon, the different important deadlines in a hackathon. And every individual team member should start executing the planned listed functionalities that you might have proposed in your idea. That is for sure. And also try to keep buffer time for yourself, just in case you take more time on various aspects while building a solution. So buffer time will help you a lot in that way. And have a plan B. Just in case you foresee plan A not working well, make sure one or two members of your team start working on your plan B. Meanwhile, other members are still trying on possibility of making plan A work. And having plan B is always helpful and relaxing as well. Because when I talk about plan B, it can be different problems with solutions or maybe a single problem with different solution. So that is all about execution. Let me check in the chat. Uttam is saying teamwork plays a lot of important uh, role, whether it is an hackathon or any development. Definitely, that is for sure, because you just not have members beside you, but you also get a lot of opportunities of learning new skills, because not everyone knows everything, right? Maybe I am knowing something, maybe my friend is knowing something. We all can learn each other by teaching each other, by working together, by working on different aspects. We may encounter different errors, different problems while we are working on something. We will try to get to the solution together. You learn how to collaborate in team, you learn communication skills and many other as well. So be it hackathon or development, definitely teamwork plays an important role. My team is a pain in the ham for me for most of the time, just rolling. No worries, that it's a common story for everyone. There are of course ups and downs in every team, but that is how we learn and grow together. What if one member of the team does not agree with the idea or execution? That is why I said you need to sit with your team and brainstorm on different opinions. Every opinion should be counted. That is really need to be considered, because you are not working alone, you are working in a team. And this is the time when you will maybe inculcate the team working capabilities within yourself. You will learn how to work in teams, because when we work individually, we have all decision making powers, but when we work in a team, we need to listen to others as well. At the same time, we need to respect everyone's opinion, and we need to start putting our views forward on the table. And this is where you will see a change. And if anyone is not agreeing, try to see the reasons why the other person is not agreeing, right? Try to understand the other person's perspective as well. And if you find something wrong, try to put your point as well at the same time. That's all about explaining your point in a good way. I hope that answers your question, but let's move on to last but not the least point, or important phase. Now, I would also like to throw some more insights about the pitching. Now, this is very crucial phase. You can turn the tables over here. Now, for a virtual hackathon, pitching can be in two ways. Either you will be called in a Zoom meet call and you have to pitch about your hack to the judges, or the second way can be that you have to submit a description about your project, maybe with a demo video. In both the case, most important is to stick with your idea and not to fluctuate, because being on point with description, you can start with an introduction and you can then explain the problem and then the solution which you have come up with, and that too during the hackathon hours, not before the hackathon have started. Also, you can keep in mind the judging criteria and make your pitch which answers all of them. This is a very important point, but many people try to forget that judges are there for you over in the hackathon to judge your projects, right? And they have been given a set of list of judging criteria. They'll be only judging your project based on those criteria. So make sure you're having all of those criteria up in your mind and trying to make your pitch around that. For example, if one of the judging criteria is innovation, while I am pitching, I'll try to add such a points which will justify the innovation in my project. So make sure you do that as well. And tell about the USP, unique selling proposition. Tell how it will help others. What impact does your solution create? Tell about if you have faced any difficulties approaching the end result and how did you overcome that. And tell if you have learned something new, any tactics which you have learned during the hackathon and you have used those things. And at the end, it all should be around your idea, and the listener or maybe judge should have three things in mind. First can be the problem you're solving, second can be the solution you have come up with, and third is the impact it is creating for others. At the end, I would just say give your best, leave the rest. That is for sure. Let me just check few more comments in the chat. I have played team games before, like Dota, and I feel like this has helped me a lot improve my teamwork skills. Definitely, that really helps a lot. How do we pick project as a team? As a team, if you'll consider, when you are forming a team, make sure you are having someone good with public speaking, having presentation skills, having clear idea, not having stage fear. And even if there are people having stage fear, there is an opportunity for you to come out of your comfort zone, push your limits, go to the stage, just eradicate that fear of yours. That is also an opportunity, right? So have someone in your team which can enhance your project and pitch well as well at the same time. What if our idea was good and even the implementation, but the pitching was not good? Will it affect the whole idea? Definitely. As I said earlier, pitching can be very crucial. It can turn the tables for you. So when I say turning the tables, it can be in both the ways, but it all depends upon how you are forming your team and how you are taking things forward. As I mentioned in all of the things which I pointed while I was talking about pitching, if you could try to keep these points in mind, it will definitely enhance your pitching. That is for sure. But as I said, try to have someone who is confident enough to speak in front of people, or maybe just pitch about your idea, and he can confidently answer other questions as well. And that can be a great, because many a times confidence matters rather than anything else. If you are speaking in front of thousands of people and if you're confident about what you're speaking, not many people would be able to question you about what you're telling or speaking in front of them. If you fumble around, maybe there might be situation that people might think that maybe you are wrong somewhere, that's why you're fumbling. They won't be able to recognize that you have stage fear, right? So there increases the chances of questioning to what you are doing. So that is for sure. 90% of the hackathons are won in pitching. I can't agree more on that. I have seen personally in many hackathons which I've been to, pitching can definitely turn the tables. I've seen people, like having low marks in first round, second round of judging, and in the final round when it comes to pitching, it has turned the tables around. The way one speaks, the way one presents, the way one impacts the audience really matters. That is for sure. Which was the best hackathon you participated in? I'll let you know after my slides. All right, I'll pick a rest of the question maybe afterwards. But after knowing all of this, you might be wondering that how one can get involved with the hackathons and hacker communities. So, well, it is simple. There are various roles with which you can get involved. So let us have a look over there. Again, on the screen, you can see my picture once again. This is a picture from one of the past events I have been to in my college itself. and I really miss those in-person events. Let's hope that we can meet in person soon, so that we can just interact that way. But yeah, talking about how you can get involved with hackathon communities, you can become a hacker and gain the experience worth remembering. You can also help others by becoming the part of an organizing team. You can become the hackathon mentor and teach other hackers so that they can learn something from your experience and build something great. You can be the workshop or talk speaker to maybe share your knowledge and experiences. You can become the part of hackathon jury panel to judge great pool of projects. And just in case if you want to do all together, be an organizer and host an outstanding hackathon. So why not? And don't forget to invite me. I would love to contribute to your hackathon as well at the same time. Last but not the least, I would also quickly share my hackathon experience and journey with you all. Again, another picture of mine from 2019. It was like, this is my picture 2 years back. I was not that much experienced. I was just like, exploring things. I was new to everything around me. But yeah, let's talk about my journey. So I started my hackathon journey in February 2019, as I said, and you won't believe my team ended up winning the very first hackathon. And after I experienced the environment and hackathon culture, I never looked back. I started attending various hackathons at different places and also won few out of them. And so far, I've attended around like 10 plus hackathons as a hacker. Later in 2020, I thought of giving back to the community, the hacker community, and wanted to teach hackers and share my experiences. And I started mentoring and speaking at different hackathons. And so far, I've been like mentoring around 30 plus hackathons and speaker in around 14 plus hackathons. I even organized few hackathons to, help hackers solve the shared problems of our society and just give them the opportunities they can grow with. And if you want to know more about my hackathon journey and want to just visit my like check out my previous talks, you can visit my hackathon website or maybe my personal portfolio, which is siddharth-hacks.live, and you'll be able to encounter many. I'm still left to be update a few of my previous hackathons I have been to, but I'll definitely update that soon. But you can check out the previous hackathons I've been to. And on that note, I would really like to thank each and every one of you for attending my this session and being with me so far. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. Really appreciate that. Thanks for interacting in the live chat. That is so awesome to see. And also, huge shout out to the entire Devhost 2020 team for just putting this event together. And just enhancing the developer community every day with all of the things which you do. So kudos to you folks. And yes, I would love to connect with every one of you who is watching on my social media. So please do not hesitate to find me online on my mentioned platforms. You can see on LinkedIn, it's just Siddharth Tayalwal. On Twitter and Instagram, it's like Siddharth_hacks, and website as I shared earlier. I'll also share my links in the chat so that you can definitely uh, connect with me over there. And now I can take some questions if there are any. And yes, thanks a lot, everyone. Let me check the chat. How many hackathons did you win till now? So, as I said, I've been to like around 10 plus hackathons so far. So, I've won like 3 to 4 hackathons. I have been like into top 3 to top 4 in few hackathons. In few hackathons, I've been like top 5 and top 15, and rest of them I just participated. So, yeah, that was how it was. Does a great project in 24 hours during the pitch? Yeah, happens. In my earlier journey, when I just started, it happened with me as well. Now I was good at public speaking, but I wasn't good that much at pitching, so that can create a difference. But it all becomes better with practice. I have seen this change within myself as well. The way I was pitching in my very first hackathon is totally different than the way I'm pitching right now. So it all comes with experience and practice. And just by participating in hackathons will help you enhance your confidence in a way that you can pitch in a more better way the next time you attend a hackathon, and that really helps adding value. Offline workshops, please come home. Definitely. I'm waiting for those moments to come. I had a doubt participating in some college hackathon and participating in community hackathons, which matters most and why? That's a good question. Let me just drink some water before that. So, see, I personally have never, compared like college hackathons and community hackathons, but see, no hackathon is, bad for me. Every hackathon is good. The thing which I always ask hackers to do is look out for what are the things you are looking for. For example, if my motto is to attend a hackathon where I could meet a lot of people, I would attend a hackathon with, tons of participation count, and try to think around what are your objective of attending a hackathon. Are you attending a hackathon to just build projects, to just meet people, to just learn something new, or any other way, to just win prizes, or any other way, right? According to your objective, according to your goal, according to your maybe interest or need, you can look out for hackathon and start participating in that, right? And there are like, after COVID came, we went virtual. There are tons of hackathons happening every weekend. You have a lot of option to pick from. So why not go ahead and check that out, and whatever fits your requirement, go ahead and attend that hackathon. Yes, I personally miss everyone, in to meet in person as well. Let's hope to meet soon. Can we add in resume that we have participated in hackathon even if we are not able to implement the idea? That might not be a good fit, I would say, because see, it's like, what should I say? Yeah, it's like, you have bought a course online, and you have just clicked on the next button, and you haven't read a single line in that particular course. You have just clicked on the next button, and you have like reached till the end. You have generated the certificate, and you are now showcasing that certificate, right? So it's like that kind of a thing. If you are participating in the hackathon, if you have started working on a project and might not be able to finish that, maybe don't add right now. Complete your project, complete the implementation of your project maybe after the hackathon. No one will stop you in implementing your project idea. You can definitely continue your project after the hackathon as well. So if you're left to implement your idea during the hackathon, complete your project after the hackathon. If you can do that, then you can add complete project in the hackathon, in your resume. So yes, that can be done. Virtual hackathons are boring. No, no, my friend, I don't think so, because it again, comes out of how you see to things. As earlier, I used to think that how could we create the same hacker experience in the virtual hackathon. But after I attended like few hackathons in like early April 2020, May 2020, I was like, I was happy that no, we can do much better in virtual hackathons itself. In virtual hackathon, you got an opportunity to interact with as many as people as you can, with people sitting in some different parts of the world. This would not have been possible during in-person hackathons, right? You are just sitting at your place, at your home, on your desk, and you have an opportunity to meet so many people at the same time. You are just, one Google Meet or one Zoom call away in interacting with your, like, any community member. So that has given me personally a huge boost, in connecting with international audience. That is for sure. Let's be honest, in-person hackathons are fun because of socializing, food, swags, and so much more. But in virtual, you can't connect that well with the audience as well as your team. See, there can be pros and cons for the same, but if I wish to connect with people, I can do that. No barriers can stop me. If I want to connect with you all folks, I can share the Google Meet link in the live chat. You can hop on to those Google Meet links. If you want to connect with people, you can find n number of ways to connect with people. If I want to connect with the organizers, I can mail them that, hey organizer, let's connect. I have few things to discuss. I have few questions, hope to meet you in this particular Google Meet link. Why not? They will definitely join you if they have the mindset of networking and connection building. If they want to take initiative, they will take. No one can stop you. You're not doing anything wrong. So it always ends up on personal motivation, how strong you believe to initiate something. And no barrier can stop you. Every problem has a solution. You just need to find how you want to approach that problem, and that is for sure. I usually never sleep in a hackathon, but at the end of the day, I get very tired. So, what do you say about the sleep or no sleep? Sleep. For sure, you need to sleep, because in my early hackathon journey, I also was, that much excited or enthusiastic about not sleeping. But having few hours of sound sleep really matters, because you have been working hard, you have been working on projects day and night for a hackathon, and this is very important, because maybe whenever the hackathon is being hosted, the night always comes between the hackathon, between the hackathon period, and before the night you start working on the project, and after the night you start submission of your project, or maybe start preparing all for your presentation. If you won't have that good sleep, you won't be able to present well or pitch well, and that is the crucial part, as I said. So have enough rest, have enough sleep, so that you can be confident enough, full of energy while you are presenting in front of the audience or maybe judges, and you won't feel like tired or like low, and your energy is like getting down or something. So I'll definitely suggest everyone to have enough sleep if you're participating in a hackathon. The good thing of virtual hackathon is I don't have to leave my house. Definitely, I am just sitting at my chair the entire day, and I'm meeting like hundreds of people. So that is definitely a bonus. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in. Awesome. I hope there are no further questions. If they are, feel free to ask those questions into the live chat. And one more thing which I would like to ask you all people, I'm also sharing in the chat. So this is like my YouTube channel link. Feel free to go over there. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe over there. I try to share my experiences of the past. I try to share more about hackathons, communities, and many other things as well. So make sure you head over to that and just see the entire channel. And if you like the content, make sure you subscribe that as well, because every Monday I upload a video. Every Wednesday we do a live stream where you can just interact with all the amazing people in the community. We have like many people joining us over there, and every Saturday we do a Hack It with Sid podcast series on my channel, where I invite many of the industry professionals, experienced speakers, and great community members. So definitely don't miss that. And thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in and giving your valuable feedbacks.
Thank you, Siddharth, for such an informative and interactive session. Definitely, it was an interesting session about hackathon one could ask for. I hope you all had a good time. So the next up session is Ask Me Anything, a super chat at 3:15. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ask Me Anything Super Chat with Super Seniors. Since we are going live in both YouTube and Instagram, feel free to drop your questions in any platform. Chat with Super Seniors. Before I give the brief intro about each of them, let me tell you, they were the founder members of Sahyadri Open Source Women Community. Even they have given talks in various SOSC workshops. So let me start by introducing our panelists. Ms. Chami Meswani, currently working as Associate System Engineer at IBM, and she was part of SOSC since 2018 as the community lead, and have completed her internship in Flash Flow Technologies in the machine learning domain. Welcome to the session. Next, we have Monisha Tarkar, currently working as product developer at Evo Automation. She was also part of SOSC since 2018 as head of sponsorship and marketing. She have gained experience by completing her technical internships at Research Design Lab, by working on the functionalities of the humanoid, and non-technical internship at NS Raghavan Center of Entrepreneur Learning. Welcome to the session. Ms. Navya BL, currently working as Associate System Engineer at IBM. She joined SOSC in the year 2018 and had worked as a chairperson for the year 2019 and 2020. Ms. Rachita B, presently working as software engineer at Adobe. She was the core member of SOSC since 2008, and she worked as an intern in Judo Studio as node developer. Okay, before we start taking up the questions from the chat section, can I request you to speak your insights on women's community and also how we can see the participation of women's hiked? Over to you.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Maitri, for the amazing introduction for all of us. And speaking of women's community, right now there are more women in technical field. Like you can see more participation than before. But even then, as a student, like when I was a student in college, the number of people participating were quite less. And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was because the confidence in like for women to involve themselves in terms of like anything technical was very less. They would feel like they are not smart enough or something. Like this is the feedback we would get from everyone in general. So for which we thought like having a women-centric community, they would feel like they are a space which is more comfortable for them to learn and grow. So we thought like this would be one of the platforms where it will be helpful for them.
Yeah, and I think that women, they think that like whenever they face some problem in their technical projects or anything, they feel very discouraged, and then they just drop off from that path. They think that it's really difficult and I wouldn't be able to do it, and might face difficulty in continuing to find the solution. So because of that mindset that it is very difficult and I won't be able to achieve it, maybe that's the reason they prevent themselves from stepping forward in the technical field. So like we have created a women's community to encourage them and make them believe that by effort and by interest, they can pursue their dreams. Yeah.
And also when you see people in a community who look like you, who are in the same background as you, coming up and maybe speaking up, or you see someone in your class who is a part of the community, it encourages others also to participate and join in. So I guess that's the main
yeah. So
intention behind.
yeah. So when we started Django Girls as a part of women's community in college, like open SOSWC, what we did see a lot of girls coming in. So we had massive number of students, which otherwise they don't turn up for events which is not women centric. So in that you can see that they want to come up, they want to come join the events, they want to do something, but there is some kind of barrier, yeah, some kind of lack of confidence, you could say, or other like how Monisha and Chami told, it could be because they think that they are not smart enough, like the lack of confidence. So that is the one main reason why we need these kind of communities. So what happens is, now in college it's a smaller community. When you see outside, there is we have women tech makers, we have girls who code, women who code. So there you meet or see a lot of people, like they are all elder to us, there may be 5 or 10 years experience in the same field. So it will help us see, like get an inspiration, like this is a path I want to go through, and there is a woman who has come through it. So they become an inspiration. So to start that, we to help them find out these kind of communities, we need to start small from college. So I think that's why we started this in college. So I think that will help them come up ahead.
Great. Actually, even I used to face the problem of feel like others, the boys who have started the journey earlier, so we might lag behind in the experience. Thank you for the points.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Till we get the questions, I would like to ask Rachita about your experience, about how you prepared for She Codes. Many of them may not know, but you got your Adobe job from She Codes, right? So how was your experience? How did you prepare? The difficulty level?
Okay, so it was so She Codes is one of the initiatives by Adobe where they focus on hiring girls. Okay, so they want to the ratio of the men and women in the company, they want to make it 50, or at least try to make it even. So it's one of the initiatives. So that's how I got in. So She Codes is sort of like an exam. I mean, it's the usual interview process. First you have a written test, and you go on for an interview. There were 3 to 4 rounds of interview. I guess 3 were technical and 1 was HR. So the preparation was, I guess it's the usual interview preparation. The things, I mean, it's not really anything different. Your basics have to be strong, and yeah, I guess, yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything special that you can do. Just the regular amount of hard work and interest is good enough.
Thank you for sharing about it. We got a question in the chat section that would be, being in open source community, did it help you guys during your recruitments?
Yeah, it helped a lot during our recruitments. During the interview, like when you tell that you are a part of an open source community, there are a lot of questions from the interviewer coming back. What was it all about? What contributions did you make for it? How did you manage it during your college time? So it's a good way to impress your interviewer that you have done something apart from your regular college activities. And also and also most of the time of the interview will go on answering those questions. So, yeah.
And I think when you come from the same college, if the placements is happening in the college, most of the people in the college will have the same kind of portfolio or resume. Like you come from the same place, your scores are almost similar, your internships are similar, you live in the same locality, and so most of your profile is similar. So being a part of something other than just the college work sets you apart. So I guess that was a big factor.
Anybody would like to add points?
Yeah, so not only that, as we all know that entire IT industry is actually using open source technologies and frameworks. So when you tell an interviewer, like in placements, that you are a part of an open source, that is you're endorsing open source and you have contributed to the community, that is a plus point for you for your this thing portfolio. So that is kind of helpful, being a part of an open source community.
Okay. Moving on, there's a next question. I don't know anything about programming or coding. Can I join SOSWC?
Yeah, totally. It's a platform that we have provided where people can learn from each other. We do not only focus on something that is higher tech or very advanced. So in the SOSWC, we are also focusing on just making sure the concepts that you learn at college are getting cleared way better. So, if you do not know, then SOSWC can be the platform for you to grow and learn in a smoother and easier way.
Yeah, I think she covered it up very well.
Okay, great. Next, how much one should be good at data structure and algorithm for interviews?
Okay, I guess, yeah, very.
No, you have to be really good. If not able to code, the data structure, at least you should be able to build up a logic based on what you have learned on data structure. At least that should be there.
Or solve the problems at least.
Yeah, solve the problems at least. And it really depends, like if your aim is to be a software developer, get into companies where the jobs like SDE1, software engineer 1 or 2, so they specifically concentrate on your data structure. So if you're somebody looking for that job, then it matters a lot. So you have to be really good at data structure.
It's like during my interview, they did not care if we could in the end code that thing completely, or if it had some errors in the code. If the logic was good and the and if it was right, the approach was smart and fast, then that's all that they were looking at. Because learning the language and implementing is something that you can do anytime. It's on the internet, but finding the logic how to solve it is something that matters more. So knowing data structure thoroughly, the concept of it will help you achieve that. Yeah.
So basically thinking like a programmer is what you get by learning data structure.
I think it could also help to look forward, like after getting into the company, you need to work. So without the basics, I don't think that's possible. Yeah. So I guess, yeah.
Okay, next question. Do you prefer on-campus recruitment or off-campus recruitment? What would be your opinion on this to your juniors?
On campus.
For me, it's both. Like try both the places.
Yeah.
Start from
easier, I guess. Is easier because you have less competition. Off campus, you're competing against a great crowd, so it becomes a little challenging. First, focus on your on-campus companies. Whatever companies are coming in your college, prepare for it properly. Prepare for the coding rounds, for the apti rounds. Yeah.
Off-campus becomes more of first of all, you don't get that many opportunities off-campus for the just passed out students. They would expect 10 years experience, 5 years experience in the field. So your job search gets filtered down to very few. So it's better to always give your best in on campus, and then once you have something in hand, then you start looking at off-campus placements.
Okay, great. Next, which are the best resources that help you along the way to reach your destination, right?
Resources as in what we learned, or what all
no, from where you learned. Which resources you would suggest?
Google, YouTube, Udemy, Coursera.
Geeks for Geeks,
Stack Overflow. Yeah,
Geeks for preparing for coding competitions. And if you want to learn something You can go through the documentation of the respective language. And also once you have, kind of briefly read the documentation, start making some projects along with the people who are making it on YouTube or Udemy. You get sample project courses. You can follow that along to documentation briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
very
for
important to code and practice whatever is being taught at the same time, because nahi to what happens is the video gets done and you just lose interest in the end, and you have not yet gotten any practical knowledge out of it. It's just all theoretical, so it won't be helpful that way.
The
and
other thing, sorry,
yeah,
the
go
other
ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. So the other thing you can do is there are so many workshops conducted in the college itself. So attending those can just help you a lot. At least you would get to know what you don't know. That would actually help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
definitely.
important to know what you don't know.
Also, in terms of preparation for campus, like all my friends have told, that does like, I remember recalled when Rachita told these workshops, they help you later on, like may not be when in college, but when you start working, you have some idea of what is happening. Like for example, Git version control system, so we learned it in college. So when we are working right now in a company, they don't teach you. So even if they do, it goes fast pace. Within what we do in college is we take up 3 or 4 hours of this single session so that we get to know. But in company it happens like 1 hour or 30 minutes. They just tell you and they go, and you have to figure it out on your own. So by attending these workshops, it's like you have an idea, you know where it is, you will pick up faster. So that helps when you're in company.
Okay, the next question is, how the tech stacks keeps getting better and better every day. How does one keep up with the recent tech stack?
Joining communities, following up, like subscribing to YouTube channels of like those specific communities, and joining their newsletter, joining Slack communities, and all of that. With this, you will always stay updated. They keep pinging you about whatever new is coming into the tech market. So that way, I think so you'll always stay updated.
Okay. What are the different tech stack the companies are following, and what's the best way to stay updated with them? Just now you answered, I think.
Yeah, actually, what companies are following is like my company, like my team also like follows mean stack and like Python to like work with the project. But then again, it depends company to company. So in whole, if I have to say something that get 3 to 4 languages, like basically the basics thoroughly of those languages, like Java, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and all of that, because these are the common languages that you will end up using once you join a company. Then it might vary, then there might be more additions to it, but get this base strong so that it is easier for you to learn other things once it comes the way.
Anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, like Monisha
Others?
said, for the question, what is industry is using, you can actually see everything. Especially the company that I'm working for, IBM, you will see all sort of tech stacks being used. So you should, instead of just jumping from one tech stack to another, choose what you're more interested in. Like go explore all of them, but choose one and get more skilled in that, and be more strong on that particular thing. Like if you say you're gonna choose Java as your strong strong point, make sure you know everything that you learned of, at least basics, fundamentals, and you are able to apply these and to be able to build something. So make sure that is there, because even though these tech stack keep updating and the companies keep moving forward to the new things, you will still need these fundamentals to help you understand the the updated versions of these. So. That's what I would like to say.
Great. Next, while explaining about our project to the interviewer, what are the points to be remembered?
Okay, so while explaining it to the interviewer, you should first explain what the functionality is, like how does your project process briefly, and then what tech stack have you used, and um, yeah, like you should list down all the languages that you have used for it and the challenges that you came across, and how did you overcome them, what resources have you used to overcome those challenges. Yeah, that's what I had explained in my interview.
Yeah, don't at all say things that you do not know about. Like, for instance, if you worked on a machine learning project, okay, and then there came certain topic, don't say that topic just to impress the interviewer, because he is going to give a follow-up question with that. So until unless you do not know whatever terms are coming out of your mouth, try to make sure, like, you do not bring those words out. Yeah.
Yeah, your resume is basically like your own question paper. Whatever you have written in your resume is going to come back at you. So just be sure to put in the things which you thoroughly know in your resume, because one question is going to lead to another question which you might or might not.
So basically, you're digging up your own hole.
Yeah.
Like, on
Yeah.
grave, actually.
Also, some of the people, like I've seen in my batch, the mistake they do when they're explaining a project is they go in detail, like too much. Don't take more than a minute or two. I think even 2 minutes is long. So don't go dive deep in exactly what you did. Give an overall process, what is happening, what will be happening, and all those things. Because when you start telling, more, they will get bored, or they'll just. It's usually like that, because they might not be interested. So see how your interviewer is. If they are more interested to know how everything is working, they will eventually start asking you more questions regarding that. So keep it concise and brief and to the point.
If it is a group project and only a part of the project is done by you, so what would the interviewer expect from us? Like, we have to explain the whole project or only the part which we have done?
Only the
No,
part.
no, actually, you have to explain everything. I mean,
you tell, but then when they ask you what you have done, like your contribution, because you know only about that, right? Like, if you start talking about something that the other person has done again, then you will get stuck, because there'll be follow-up questions. So you tell what the project was and you've worked on that. So be very specific that you worked on this part of the project.
Part of it. Basically, see your project as a product. So when you are talking about a product, selling the product, like this is a thing, this is what it does, this is how it works. So when you're explaining, when you're starting off as a project, talk it like that, and you can tell that my contribution to the this project is this part, and you can explain that. So that's how it works. But it's usually good to know what the other part is also, what your teammates have done, because that way it shows that you guys were actually collaborating very well, so you know each other's work as well.
So the next question is, how good should a project be?
That's a subjective question, I would say, because how good the project.
Sometimes what happens is, even if the project is quite simple, but your approach to getting the solution to that problem or whatever that you are trying to do is really smart, so that can be a plus point. So it doesn't really matter that your project needs to be extremely complicated with all the extremely difficult algorithms and all of that. The end product or the cause of choosing that problem for your project is good, then I think so that's a good enough point. Like, they just want to see how you've worked and how did you find the solution to it.
And also, if you're doing the same project, like it's already there, or certain projects, when like the projects, like the college projects, for the academic that we do, like DBMS project. So it's the same thing, like management system. Again, everything is a management system. So it's better that if you are going to present such sort of project on your resume, it's better you have done something different than what is already existing. So for such projects, okay, like what is different than rest of them have done. So that could be a good project as well.
Okay. Anything would you like to add, others?
I guess they pretty much covered it.
Yeah, they covered it.
Moving on to the next question. Does applying through LinkedIn or even having a reference helps during off-campus?
Yeah, the reference helps a lot. Even LinkedIn, setting up a good LinkedIn profile is very important, because when you're applying for off-campus, they usually ask for your LinkedIn profile. And then, they will just check out what you have done, what achievements, what skills you have added, the endorsements that are there. So setting up a good LinkedIn profile is really important.
And when people check you out about, about your work profile, they usually go to LinkedIn. No one really cares about your other platforms except GitHub.
There's also LinkedIn, LinkedIn job search. So like you can actually apply for jobs through LinkedIn. So that is also again something like if you have a good connect with people, then it will be really helpful.
Yeah. But what helps you the most is definitely reference. For you to directly get an interview to certain companies, because LinkedIn, what happens? It depends.
But it's not like, you have a good connect with somebody from a company and then you don't talk to them, and then all of a sudden you're like, I need a job. They won't care. They will just ignore the message. So you have to, like, whatever things that you do, you have to be very active on LinkedIn to be able to use those references.
Build those relationships with people beforehand.
Using them.
Have good network.
Yeah, treat LinkedIn like your Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
Maybe not.
Only for professionals.
Yeah, like have to keep it professional.
Keep it professional, but just keep on building connections, talking to people. All that.
Okay. The next question. What is the major takeaway you had gained apart from getting a job, being part of the community?
A lot of things for me, actually, because first major thing was finding these people in college, with somebody with a similar vision as mine, and somebody who have done a lot of things. So, especially seniors. So they were a really good mentors. They still are good mentors because we still in touch. So that is one major takeaway for me. And also being in a community or a club in college means we were conducting a lot of workshops, events, so that way we could connect with a lot of other people in college with the same vision again, because that is also important when you're in college, because you're in a tech field and you want people good networking. So you should start with the college. So that for me was a big takeaway, finding these people.
It's also like because in a community there are students from all the different years joining in. So once a person passes out from college, so what happens is they'll be doing some jobs. So for the rest of the students, they can always because they have personally worked with them, so they can refer them to the companies, or at least they can give a better guidance to everyone with respect to what to do about their future, and what type of job they can apply, what is out there that they can look into or start learning.
For me, it was I gained a lot of confidence by joining this community. I had stage fear, but then after joining this community, I could speak during the workshops, and it was my seniors who pushed me forward to speak in front of everyone, conduct workshops and all that. And also, when you're part of a community, when you listen to each other's ideas, you gain various perspectives to a certain problem. The way of your thinking, it enhances into different into different directions. So, you can think for a problem in many different ways and come up with many different solutions. That's a major part of being in a community with a lot of like-minded people.
That was good. So next question. Will the senior DevOps help us once we join the company?
Will what help us?
Senior developers.
Yeah, definitely. Because without their help for us to move into a company, it gets really difficult because we are freshers and we don't know anything. I mean, we don't know anything. That's how it is. So they do give good mentorship and yeah, they do help.
Normally, everyone is assigned with a senior dev, and they will
mentor.
always guide us, like what task needs to be done, how it needs to be done, what you need to learn to do all of that. So it's
Review what
in
you've done.
situations, in such situations, it's always good to have a good team. Like you need to pray to have a good team.
That's true.
The next question. Does certification related to some courses matter a lot in resume?
I would say in the resume, it looks good to have those certifications, but without the knowledge, I don't think it matters at all. So I guess you could focus on learning and then getting those certificates.
That is very
looks good in the resume, but
that is
learning is the most important thing that you can do.
See, like last time, I'm sorry. So last time when there was a lockdown, we got Coursera, access for students. So there are a lot of people, including me, have done a lot of certification. So among those, I don't even want to tell the number, but it is huge. What happens is, even though I have done so many certification, I am good at only few things, and I know that I'm good at only few things. So if I include everything on my resume, it makes no sense because I'm not good at everything. It's just that I gained some knowledge from the certification. So it's always good to be more skilled than have a certificate. If you have both, it's good.
So it only focus like a proof that yes, you know this. So like we said, like mentioned earlier, resume is like, you need to only write things that you're very confident about. So like that certification part just adds as a proof that, this person is whatever she's or he is saying is true.
Yeah. And if you're putting up the certification in your resume, you are for sure going to get questions about that. So you anyway have to be skilled at that particular, skill that certification is proving.
And this is in terms of as a college student, right? So what happens when you join a company is not completely like this. So for certain role, like right now I am they have put me into a security team. So for me, it's compulsory that I need to have a certification for my role. So that usually happens when you join a company, and certain company, they ask you to have a certification. So in that way, you need to have the certification. But otherwise, as a fresher, I think it's completely okay if you don't have, as long as you are not, as long as you need to be, you have to be skilled enough.
Okay, the next question. Have you done internships and how has it helped you during your placements? Well, the internships were mentioned. How has it helped you?
I guess the projects that you do in the internship also matters. I don't know how it helps in the placements, but you definitely get a touch of how the companies actually work. So I guess that's a big factor there.
Okay. I had done both like technical and non-technical internship, and during my interview, they were honestly more interested to know about my non-technical internship. They wanted to know what kind of work I did, how did I involve myself in the activity that when I mentioned what exactly my work was. And then technical, of course, they'll see, for them, it's like, if they know anyone from the company, they can cross-verify and be like, how was that person? Were they good enough when they were working? Were they professional enough? So, yeah.
So, next question. How was the transition from college life to work life? How is the work culture at your company? Two questions together. You can answer part by part.
Okay,
Okay.
the transition, I think so. It was not that smooth, not that difficult for me, because honestly, like whatever we learn in college is very, very basic, and very like the we are not touching all the fields as such, like that is out there being used. And when you once you move into the company, it is like you're bombarded with so much tech stack and like new things. So that way, it for people who are already like knowing, like staying updated with all of this, having their basics strong, so it will be like a smooth transition. Nahi to it will be very difficult for you to like manage. Yeah.
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 Because once you enter a company, you are expected to learn things on your own. It's not like college that they're going to teach you everything from the scratch and then they will verify that you know this or not. They're just going to assign you with some projects and they will expect that you finish it up. You do whatever you want. You take up courses, you learn it on your own, or you just have to finish that task. So if you are already updated with that knowledge or you already have that skills by making some projects during your college life, it's going to be of great use.
That's true. So to add on, one of the greatest, not greatest, yeah, one of the challenges I face transitioning from college life to a work life is not calling people as sir or ma'am. That was the biggest, what do you say, struggle, because they are all elder to you with, I don't know, people
Lot
who
of
have,
experience.
yeah, they are 10 or 12 experience, like years of experience, and we know that they're elder to us. So calling them by name, and they insist, multiple times, like, don't call me sir, don't call me ma'am, call me by my name. My name is this. So I think that is one of the biggest challenge that I faced. But other than that, just like my friends told, it was fine.
Yeah, I guess for me it was pretty smooth. We had 2 months of training. So in the first, not 2 months, I guess 5 weeks or something. So the first 3 weeks they went on. It was in a quick pace. They taught us stuff, but it was in a very quick pace. And the last 2 weeks we had to build a project on our own, combining everything that they had taught. So I guess that's where the problem arise. We didn't know how to uh, combine two different stacks and make something out of it. So I guess other than that, it was pretty good. After I joined the team, it was fine and it was easy actually.
Actually, how was your joining experience? Because you are the first batch who joined the company virtually, not like offline. So how was that?
For me, it is difficult. I am a person who will connect well with people in person, talking to person.
Yeah.
So when there was orientation, induction we had, there were 130 people and it was all virtual. So interacting with one another becomes difficult, and networking, especially for me, becomes a little difficult. So I struggle even now, but I make it a point that I talk to people whenever I get a chance, because we don't know how long this online is going, like virtual environment is going to go. So it's better to adjust with this and learn to network online like this.
For me, it's
So
like
anybody else?
yeah, for me it's like there are certain tasks, like you don't do everything and anything that you work in a team alone. So sometimes you need somebody's help, or like it's connected, whatever work that you're doing. So if you were in office, would take a minute or two, but now because you need to wait for the other person to come online, make sure they are available and all of that, so it just drags the whole thing. So that way it's a negative point. But then, like, of course, you're in your pajamas, you have your laptop, you can work whenever you want on your bed or wherever. So that way it's better.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Quite flexible.
Flexible, yeah. There is no need to
Yes.
commute. You don't have to get up early in the morning, do
End up
all the
saving a lot.
rituals.
You don't have to dress up. You can just get out of your bed and on your table.
Definitely. And we save a lot also staying at home. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how is your work culture in your respective companies?
I guess in mine, we have a very open culture, like open communication. We uh, there are daily meetings, of course, but I think asking someone for help is, I don't know if it's just for me, but it's very comfortable, and it doesn't matter if I don't know things. There are people who will reach out to me and help out. So I
Yeah.
guess it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the good thing. Like, initially we'll always be like, should I ask? Maybe it's a silly question. Let's like not waste that time or something. But then, my senior dev, like that's what he told me, that we have also been at the same position that you are at right now. So we know what you're going through. So it is fine. Like it's completely fine. You can be open. Like, you can just ask us whatever question you want, whatever doubt you have. So they are very friendly and like, very helping. So that way it's really nice.
Yeah, I think I have the same thing to say.
Same.
It's quite open, and you can just ping them during the work hours anytime, any kind of question. They don't take it as silly or anything, and they're quite friendly also. So you don't feel like they're your seniors, or that they don't give that vibe. I am your senior. You have to keep that thing between us. That is not there. You can just.
That's not there.
It's not there. More like, how to say, not a
You're
friend
not friends
also,
and your work. Yeah, I don't.
and not even friend, but not even as it's difficult to say.
Person. Yeah, it's a friendly professional environment.
Yeah, friendly professional.
Comfortable.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
we have these Slack communities where if we have certain doubts, we just put up the questions on that over there, and there are so many people who will answer it for you. So they're very accepting, very understanding. The HRs, very good culture in IBM.
Great. This would be very great answer for us because even we might follow in the same footstep in the coming year. So, okay, the next question would be, does having great ranks in code forces, code ranks, lead codes help us to filter out other competitors?
Could you repeat the question?
Okay. Does having a great ranks in code force, hacker ranks, and lead codes help us filter out the other competitors, maybe like standing out than others?
Some of the companies, like I have seen recently, okay, I have used only HackerRank, but there are companies who recruit on these platforms. They conduct coding events, and they usually give pre-placement opportunities for the students with better ranks. So that way, yes, it definitely helps. Then I'm not really sure. I think it's a lot of people who are who are using CodeChef. They get certain rank as top some percentage. So that'll definitely give an add-on, because the stars, that will definitely give you an add-on, because they know you're letting them don't know that you're good at coding and you can come up with logic. So that way it definitely does.
Yeah, keep participating in the contest that these platforms are hosting, because it is going to enhance your rank, and you can use that rank in your resume or anything, and the companies will come and reach out to you. One of my friends, he had an absolutely good rank in code forces, and he got an opportunity to give interview at Google just because of his code forces rank. So it's very important. It's very useful to have a good rank on these platforms, especially code forces. Code forces is a good platform.
Okay, the next question. How does referral work, and do they call directly for interview, or they keep an online test and then the interview is taken?
It depends actually, because I don't think any of us have referred anyone. But at IBM, right now, if you refer, especially if you're referring somebody with, I think 0 to 2 years of experience, there will be the process, not directly interview. Like you have to go through their rounds. But I'm not really sure if it is the same for people with more experience, because we have never. I don't think any one of us have referred anyone yet. So.
But I did approach my manager regarding that. So for me, it was I just had I just sent a resume and I mentioned that this so and so person wishes to join our firm, and he was like, yeah, I'll just follow it up in the hierarchy, and once whenever the date comes, when they are actually recruiting, and because even for that, the one that on campus, off campus, and referral interviews have like a specific time for all of that. So yeah, so they'll just they will have an exam. It's not they just take you in directly. You will have an interview. It might be that you might not have to take up a proper aptitude test, but you will have a proper interview. You might have 2-3 rounds of interview.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question would be, apart from working in IT companies, how do you want to encourage women to take up civil service exams or be an woman entrepreneur?
Okay. So civil services is, I wouldn't push it, but if you're really interested, no, because it happens, people just come up to you and give you those advices like you should go through it. So if you're somebody who is really interested, to do something, to be a civil servant to the country, help your people around you, something like that, and somebody who's also interested in our Indian system, constitution, political science, history, and all those. If you're really interested, you should definitely go for that, job, because it is good. It is really good. But again, you should go out of interest rather than just going for the money or the benefits of being in a government sector. So that is one thing. And being a woman entrepreneur, if you should go for it. Like if you're somebody who's having ideas and know that you can do this, I mean, you definitely can do it. You definitely can do it because you are coming up with an idea. So if you have an idea, just go for it. During this pandemic, I've seen so many people starting a small business on their Instagram. So yeah, definitely.
I had the internship that I did was about this, like women entrepreneurs in IIM and SRCL. So there were it was something all over India. So all the IIMs got together and they hosted this thing. So they would, through this, once you get selected, you will get they will train you, they will teach you, they will mentor you properly, they will fund you, I guess, also, and they'll give you so basically you can having that thing getting that mentorship from IIM lecturers, or their people that are certified through IIM and all of that. It is really, really helpful. So there are many platforms that are right now supporting women entrepreneurs. And actually those women entrepreneurs that came for the event, some of them already had a good company running. Some of them just came with a basic idea.
Yeah.
So it's not you need to have to be at a certain level. So they'll train you about everything, they'll teach you everything. So that way it's good. And yeah, so if you want to, and also about the defense thing, like civil services and all. So if you want to run away from coding or anything tech, civil service is not the only option for you. So there are so many things out there that you can try, so many interesting things, because civil service, I think so, there was a time when everybody ran behind civil services, joining the defense, joining bank, because it has its own sort of perks and job security. But then my personal opinion would be I shouldn't be saying this, my dad was in defense. So I've seen them work, what type of work they do, and it's a very repetitive everyday files, and because, and being a woman, I don't think so right now we have that much opportunity to actually go uh, uh, like, if you work for the Navy, then like actually going for sailing in the ships and all of that. So you would be stuck at the office. So I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that. Like, there is pride, but you might get bored or like tired of the job.
Yeah, like about entrepreneurship, as Navya and Monisha said, if you have an idea, just go for it. Even if it doesn't work out for you, the experience that you're going to gain during that process is not going to go anywhere from you. That experience is really special. That is going to help you in your life. Yeah. So if you have an idea, if you think even a bit that you can make it work, just go for it.
Okay. So the next question would be, during this pandemics, it made me a bit confused and stuck sometimes, a bit lazy how to overcome this problem as campus recruitment is on the line.
Oh,
Yeah. I guess
bad for that person. I think so. That was the case even when the pandemic was not there. We were still lazy, and then we started panicking when the first company came and nobody got selected. So you're like, okay, it's time to get serious. Yeah, but then so I would suggest, like, what I would do is have a basic, like, all the things that actually tend to make you more lazy, try to avoid it, so that and like, make sure you have allocated time to learn the aptitude and all of that, because without clearing the aptitude you can never go to the next step. So even if you're great at coding, you have great internships, you're very smart, but if you do not clear that aptitude, you can never show all of that. So get those basic courses done of like aptitude, try solving as much as you can, and invest your time in all of that.
Yeah.
maybe
And also yeah, okay, and also don't think, like, start small. Okay, just think that I'm going to solve two competitive questions in a day, or maybe I will solve 5 to 7 aptitude questions a day. Don't think that I have to sit and work for 3 hours and I have to solve 20 competitive questions. Just start small, like, just start, so you won't have that pressure. Oh my god, I have to do so much, and I've already started feeling lazy just thinking about that. So just think about those two competitive questions that you have to crack today. Then I think it might push you to do it.
Actually, because if the question is very specific to that, the interviews and all of that is on our head right now. We don't have much time. Then they can specifically, I've forgotten the name, but all these exams that take place right now, all these aptitude and all of that is certified by one company, or like, is that exam by that person. What were the exams that we faced?
AMCAT.
AMCAT.
Yeah.
Then there was a
Cubes, Elitmus,
long
those things.
exam was there.
Yeah,
Cubes,
so
cubes.
co-cubes. So what happens is, so now, for instance, there is a company, they prepare a set of questions and they have their own platform where these exams will take place, like aptitude, coding, and all of that. So what happens is, now IBM, Cognizant, Infosys, they will purchase those questions or purchase whatever license they are providing from them, and they will keep that examination. So what you can do is, you can start preparing, like, AMCAT agar hai, so you can just take up that name and start looking for questions from that specifically, so that it will be more helpful for you to like prepare, because then you're not all over the place and you know exactly what type of questions AMCAT has a standard of, and you can prepare for that easily.
And if you know which company you're concentrating on, you can just go to Geeks for Geeks or other forums like that and read interview experiences, company specific questions. So maybe you could prepare like that.
Yeah, even HackerRank offers you company-specific coding questions, and even LeetCode. If you buy LeetCode Pro, I think they give you, like, based on the difficulty level, all the questions that are asked in a company: low, medium, high. Yeah. So LeetCode is also
Sahyadri,
one good
yeah.
platform where you can practice.
Sahyadri also has a YouTube channel where you can where you have experiences of students who underwent the
Rashmi
proper
Mams.
recruitment. Yeah, Rashmi Mams. So they can check that out.
Yeah. Okay. The last question for today's session would be, is it true that apart from academics, even personality development skills help in getting recruitment?
A lot, yeah. Like
A
what
lot.
happened
It's
is my friends, so like we sat for an interview. Everyone's smart. I know that my other friend, like whoever sat with me, is smarter than me. But what happens is at times that the only reason you're not able to communicate well with your interviewers sets back. Like, it becomes a negative point if you're not able to talk good, like talk well enough, communicate well enough. So it is actually very important to be bold and confident in whatever you speak.
Okay.
That is true, because you might be really good at technical skill, but your communication is not good. You're not able to put your thoughts and your ideas in front of the interviewer, or not just an interview, when you're in company also, you're not able to communicate well with your team. And apart from that, even being empathetic to your colleagues, and the nature of understanding another person, helping them out, and those are very crucial also. Like you can always build on your technical skill. It is like, keep practicing, you will keep reading the books, you will get to know. But personality, you should practice those every day. And that is important, because the other person also should engage with you, like talk to you also. If they feel like you're rude, or you are showing too much attitude, or you are not clear of your
You're
thoughts,
not
what you're
talking
speaking.
enough also. Like it's not even just about the negative points. If you're
Negative
not,
points.
even if you're very sweet, but you're not taking that first step to talk or initiate a conversation or be ready to work in a team, that team spirit. So these are certain terms that these companies like literally look for in a person. And like the HR is always sitting there and noticing you, the way you're sitting, the way you're talking, and all of that. And then his questions would from the normal usual questions would be like regarding whatever he just like understood from the interview.
yeah. During an interview, they're not just looking at your technical skills. They're also looking at your body language, how confident you are, how greatly you're communicating. Because one of my friends, he was really good at his technical skills, but he was not able to convey his thoughts. He was not able to convey what he was thinking, and then he couldn't clear the interview just because of that. Because he couldn't speak properly, like how the interviewer expected. So it's very important to communicate rightly. While you are in the interview, just speak whatever is going in your mind when you're solving the question. Yeah, so that's going to help you a lot.
Okay. The one last question would be, what would be your suggestion about the early investment in the beginning of the career?
Okay, so we are all just starting out. The thing is, right now, our condition is we are in our 20s, we are at home, so we are saving a lot of money, which also means that you can take a lot of risk. So this is the time you learn, and you can choose to lose some money if that happens, in investing. So you will, because after certain years, your life will change. You're not all by yourself. You will have to you have to be responsible for your family and everything. So that time it will be much difficult to take this kind of risk. So it is better to start early in your investment, so know how these things work around you, how to invest, how much to invest, and start small. And there are a lot of videos these days, and there are a lot of resources where you can read, and you can always ask people who are doing it, your elders who are doing this. So that way, if you start early, it is a good good sort of savings in a long run, because we always know the money is actually compounding, means compound interest, what you have learned. So instead of just keeping that money, or just spending all that out, because you want to spend it out on things that you don't want simply, so it's better to always invest it somewhere. So it is good if you start early, and if you can start small also. So that is my
someone actually mentioned me when I was like 19 years old or something. She had done financing. So she was giving me the proper advice, like what you need to do with your money and how you need to have money like in your account. So she told that you need to have 50,000 with you in your bank account. That needs to always be there. Then you can do whatever you want with the rest of the money. So no matter what happens, if there is any scenario that you get stuck, and that is like basically your emergency and like go to money, that needs to always be there. And when it comes to investments, I think so it is only wise to start once you yourself have enough knowledge. Don't go with the trend, okay, this person is doing it, so let me do it. Because this is, you can't just go around and play with money. Like, even if you want to, you need to be smart enough and you should have enough knowledge to start. And if you want to play it safe, you can invest into something like a long-term investment or something, or you can get into stocks again if you're really good at it. But yeah, I don't think so, except Navya, any of us have like actually done proper investments.
Yeah.
We are still like learning
Still
and
not sure.
Even I'm still learning. It's just that I took a leap of faith of leap, whatever that sentence is.
Leap of faith, yeah.
Leap of faith, yeah. So even I started small. I have not invested a lot, just a little bit money, just to see how things work, how. Taking some risk, because I can afford some risk at this point. So that's what I'm doing. I am not doing it, just out of my mind. I'm talking to people whom I know that they are also doing it, or they have gone through this process. So they're giving me the knowledge of these things, like how it works, everything. So I'm taking those also, and I'm studying about it. So yeah, if you're in college, you're not earning, start learning. That's one thing we never got in school, about finance. They never taught us, like it is a crucial thing. They never
skill,
did.
but
Essential. Yeah, we never got. So start reading about it. There is a lot of resources. So by the time, maybe when you start earning, you'll have enough knowledge to put
maybe
those.
you could start earlier than us.
Yeah, you could start earlier than us. That is also there with your pocket money. So start learning first, Messenger in college, or if that's what I would like to say.
Yeah, definitely having financial knowledge would be amazing. Even I started small, right, like last month. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for attending this and being a panelist and joining us. Thank you so much. So this brings us to the end of, so this brings us to, welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you from the SOSC team for you. So this brings us to the end of the AMA session. Thank you for all participants who dropped your questions. And this was the last session of Devhost 2021. So now I would like to hand over to our president, Akashdeep. He would conclude the event. Thank you.
Is it live? Is it live? All right. So thank you to all the attendees for making it out to Devhost 2021. Thank you all the super seniors for sharing your knowledge with all the attendees, as well as special thanks to all the speakers for taking your time out of your day and sharing the knowledge with the community. I'm quite sure that people would have learned a lot of new things in Devhost 21 as well. Now, a special thanks to the team as well. Now, I understand that these are tough times, and since morning we have been getting messages because of the internet outage in a lot of areas on the West Coast, and also the pandemic that has been going on. So all of you stay safe. Also text your friends that all the sessions are going to be on our YouTube channel as well. So you all can check that out later if you could not attend Devhost 21. Now, make sure that next week you do attend our design workshop. It will be conducted maybe around 11-ish in the morning, but whatever it is, you can stay tuned with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, or you can go to our Instagram or any of the social media handles. So all the details will be given over there. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, the team of SOSC, for conducting Devhost 21 successfully.